Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new here, please click on like and subscribe. Today we're going to be building this honeycomb shelf or hexagon shelf out of scrap wood. Needs something to do with a lot of scrap wood, and that seems to be a good project for it. Now, I think I did another video on how to make the hexagons. Might have been an octagon video, I can't remember. But this one will be making multiple ones and putting them together into one shelf. Now you can design this however you want, make as many as you want, but this is just an idea of something to do with some scrap wood. So the first thing I want to do is plane all these down to about a ½ inch. You can make these ½ inch, ½ inch, whatever you want, depending on the scrap wood you're using. ½ inch seems to work good. It gives you plenty of space for your glue to bind, and it's not too bulky if you're going to put them together in multiple pieces. So I'm just taking all the pieces. I cut them all down to size. Again, it was easier to plane them first. Now I'm going to rip them all down to the same width, so we're going to go like 2 inches wide here, and we're just going to cut all the boards we have into 2 inch wide boards. Now you have to do your math and figure out how many pieces you're going to need or how long you need, so make sure you get the right amount in there. Now, of course, depending on how many hexagons you're going to make, of course, determines how many of these you're going to need to cut, so you have to do your math and figure that out. So we're going to set our saw blade to a 30-degree angle. And what that'll do is that'll let us make our cuts for our pieces with our sled. And that way they'll all be cut. And what we'll do is we'll alternate them back and forth. So once we cut the first piece off, we'll have a 30-degree angle on it. And then we'll just flip it back and forth on itself and end up with 30s each time. So the first thing we're doing is just nipping the one end off. And that'll give us a 30-degree angle to start. And then once we start feeding these through with a stop in there, as you can see, we can feed them through one at a time. Or you can flip it back and forth on yourself if you want to, and do multiple pieces at a time, which is what we're doing here. And after it's all said and done, we ended up with enough to do 8 hexagons. So we're going to use the old tape and glue here. What I'm doing is basically I'm going to flip over 6 pieces, which is what I need for my hexagon. I'm going to line these up by hand, and then I'm going to take a straight edge. Now if you wanted to make this a little faster, you could put a straight edge on your board there, or if you've got a straight edge already set up on your shop, basically just bump these up against the straight edge and then you would be all set to go. I'm just taking my time here and doing it this way. Once I get this done, I'm going to roll a piece of tape across the top of it, then we're going to flip them over, and then we're going to put some glue in between them. And if you want to, you can use some CA glue also. I usually use a little combination of both, but not always. So you could do the regular glue, or you could do some CA glue in between there if you want to set up faster. I'm going to let these set for probably 24 hours. Now as I'm rolling this up, I'm kind of going back and forth. Make sure you get plenty of glue coverage on them. You don't want a whole lot of glue squishing out to clean up. And then clean up your mess as you go, especially if you're doing walnut or some sort of a hardwood that you're not going to paint and you're going to stain or you're going to oil, because it's really hard to clean the glue up off later, of all those little cracks and crevices. And you can see once I got them taped, I was using my T-square, just checking to make sure I had the same dimensions across each one, and that way they were all even. Now if you want to, you can clamp this. If you feel better about it, you can run clamps across them. Since I'm doing so many of them, the tape method works perfectly fine. I'm going to leave them set overnight. So anywhere from 12 to 24 hours, these are going to cure. They're not going to pop apart. Plus we're also going to be putting them together side by side, which will also create more bonding surface that will keep it together. So I had a couple bad files there, but as you can see here, basically what I did is I laid my pattern out. I moved all the pieces around until they all fit perfectly before I clamped and glued anything together. Some pieces fit better than others, of course, since you're hand making them. They're made out of scrap, and again, we're not using the most precise methods of cutting them. So they all fit together pretty good, but there's a couple of them that were off a little bit. So you just spin them around until they fit the best in the way you're going to put them. And then I've glued each one of these one at a time in place and just kind of fit them around. So I glued one side at the beginning, then I glued 2 sides, 2 sides, 2 sides, 2 sides until I was done. And as you can see, I've got everything clamped in place. And then as I take the clamps back off, again, this is overnight. Everything should be nice and dry and nothing's going to move or pop out or go anywhere. Next step will be sanding everything down, and I'm going to sand all these cracks and crevices. Normally you want to keep your sander super flat. In this case, if there's any cracks or crevices that need a little attention, you can tilt your sander at a slight angle. Since this is not going to really show any dents or dings in it, It's easier to get the cracks all nice and straight than it is to have a crack that shows up a little bit. So just work your sander in there until all your edges are pretty well smoothed out. And once you get all that finished up, grab your favorite finish, whether it be shellac, polyurethane, if you want to stain it, depending on the wood you picked. I'm just going to use feed and wax, which is mineral oil and beeswax, and polish it up. And if you want to, you could put a hanger of some sort on the back of it to hang it, or you can just put a screw in the wall and hang it flat, or it would sit straight up and down by itself. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. Please click on like and subscribe, and if you would, take a minute and drop a comment down below. Let us know what you think.